Here's another old guitar that I've purchased off of eBay. Got the big plastic inlays in it. Brass looking frets. A little wider than some of them I've seen. I don't think that nut's original. They usually didn't use that wide a nut on these things. And it's an old cheap guitar with a plywood top in it. It's one of those that's got the painted binding on it, and steel reinforced neck. That means it's got a piece of steel down in there for the truss rod. I usually remove that and remove the fingerboard and put a two-way truss rod in these things. It's just a typical old cheap Kay. They didn't have much sound in them. It's got that old pinless bridge, which doesn't matter because I'm going to put a top in it, and the bridge is going to leave it just like the top is. So anyhow, it's one of those other deals that, like so many other ones that I've done, it's not really worth the time that I'm going to spend on it. But what's time to a hog? Well, I was going to show you, pop this nut off there. Somebody has put a little plastic shim underneath the nut. I didn't think that was original. We've got our little heating blankets on. This is kind of a homemade device. I bought some little heating blankets off of Amazon or eBay or somewhere. I bought some of these things from Allied Luthery a few years back, and they didn't last very long. And these have worked pretty good for me. Here we are in the process of removing the fingerboard. It's just a slow deal. You just have to take your time and try to not tear the wood up. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, but some of them come off pretty well and some of them don't. Well, here's the truss rod that came out of it. Piece of steel, about, looks like maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch wide. And here's the fingerboard. It's probably poplar, that neck, and it's a lot softer than the rosewood. And you usually wind up with little pieces of it still glued to the fingerboard, but that ain't nothing for a stepper. Here's the neck. They always got a real tight, seems like they always got a real tight place right here. You don't even have room to hardly drill a hole down through there, but we need to drill a couple of holes in there to get our foam cutter toes down in there. Here we are with our little foam cutter toes down in there and heating up, and my little homemade jig to put some pressure on the neck, and we'll wiggle this thing around a little bit, the neck, and heat it and put some pressure on these little screws, and we'll hopefully get the neck out of it. Well, here's the neck out of it. Came out fairly clean. There's a little bit of the dovetail stayed on the thing there, but here's the neck. It's very seldom I'm ever able to get it out without pulling a little bit of wood out, but I've always been able to compensate for that. Well, it's the next day here, and we've got our top edge where the top plate goes on cleaned up. We're going to work on these back braces. They're just way too big and thick and heavy. You can tell they didn't spend a lot of time smoothing them out when they put them in there. Well, maybe you can see, here's two of the back braces that I've cut down, and here's two front ones that hadn't been cut down, so you can see the difference. Well, here's the back and the sides after I've got the braces rounded over and smoothed down a little bit. I believe that says 660, and that may be 1966. That's about what I think that would describe it pretty well, because it's got X braces in it. That's kind of weird. It had X braces in it. Most of them were ladder braces. You can see the X braces there, laying over there. All right, here's my little jig for gluing up the top. This is some western cedar, and all you experts that really know what to do, you're going to tell me that I've got the things oriented wrong, but that's the way I want to do it. So there's a dark streak down the middle of all this cedar stuff, and I'm going to turn it toward the outside and probably sunburst this top. Alright, we got the top plate glued together, and we got the body laid down on this blank here. I'm going to show you a little trick I learned from Frank Ford, one of my heroes. Here's what Frank asked a question: what was better than a pencil? And his answer was a half pencil. So we're going to take this half pencil, put the flat side down here on this guitar, and we're going to mark this all the way around the edges. I'm going to give you an idea of the difference between a Dreadnought Martin and this Kay. This is what they call a western cut, and the sides weren't as the waist wasn't quite as narrow on this Kay western cut. You can see the difference. It's about looks like maybe close to a half inch on each side, but the initial length of the body, this is a Martin Dreadnought D28 herringbone pattern. You can see the initial length of it is about the same. The the sound hole is in a different place on the Kays. And of course, most of the Kays were ladder brace, but this one happened to be X brace. But the X brace was in a old plywood top, and that doesn't carry much sound in my opinion. Now what we're trying to explain here is we're trying to lay the bracing pattern out on this new top so that it comes out in the right place where the bridge strikes the bracing in the proper position. Here's my little template here. It's half of a Kay scale, which is a little different than Martin's and different than Harmony's. Here's the 12th fret right here, and here's the 14th fret. So the 14th fret is where it crosses the body. So we got the fingerboard in the right position here in the front of the guitar. We come on down here. Here's a bridge in position on the Martin template, and you can see that there's about maybe 1/8 or 3/16 difference where the bridge needs to be. We could probably get by with just leaving this pattern where it is, but I think I will scoot it back about, you can see how much this is there, just a little over 1/8 of an inch, and that way when we put the bridge on it, it'll come out right on top of where we want the X braces to cross under it. Here's a shot of us on our little templates that we use, Martin templates that we copied from Martin guitars and from plans and so forth, and radius templates. And here's our braces laid out here, front brace, and here's the rough sawn braces for around the sound hole. Here we are cutting the hole for the sound hole, rounding the edges over. Here's a shot of the dry fit braces. Here's the top with the braces in it. And I've written a little note here. Let me scoot up here a little way where you can read it maybe. This is Ronnie Nichols 7125 B-2 restoration, cedar top, X braces, Martin bridge, neck two-way truss rod, dogwood bridge plate, modern tuners. And that's just a little of what we did, but maybe that'll explain to somebody what was going on here. Here's a shot of the top clamped in. All my homemade, most of them are homemade clamps. Here's the top kind of smoothed down to match the side. Here's a shot of the body with the binding taped on it. We used fish glue to put the binding on. Some of that Stu-Mac off-white binding. Here's the body after we cleaned it up a little bit. It's still far from perfect, but it's going to be tolerable, I believe. While the binding glue is drying, another day or so, I'm going to jump over here on this neck. We took this little metal truss rod out of this thing. It's about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 3/16 wide. A little bit narrower than this truss rod I'm going to put back in it. So we're gonna go down through here with a little thin chisel and widen this slot out. Here's the fingerboard being reattached after we got the truss rod in it. Well, it's 87 degrees today, and I have to apologize for my air conditioners running, but can't stand the heat. So here I've got some sunburst sprayed around the edges of this thing, and we're also working on the neck. Got some pearl inlays we're going to put in the neck here. Those old plastic ones are tacky looking. Here's the top after I got the shading on it. Here's a shot of the frets after we leveled them and crowned them and polished them. Here we are in the final stages of buffing the top out. Air conditioner's running. It's hot today, and I know that background noise is aggravating, but that's just what we have to put up with. Voice it over one. Here's the peg head after I got the new keys on it and the emblem back on it, and the truss rod cover made for it and installed. Still got to put the nut on it, and we haven't got the neck attached to the body yet. We're working on that. But here we are with the neck fitted into the body and clamped in there, glued it in with fish glue. Here we are gluing the bridge on now. Got our clamps on it, got it glued on with fish glue, cleaned all the squeeze out off. Here's a shot of the rosette being installed. It's a fake rosette, it's a decal. Here's a shot of the top after the rosette got dry, and we beveled and installed a new pick guard. It's a Martin style pick guard, tortoise color. Here's a final shot of the this guitar. It's the Kay model 6106 that we did our restoration on. I don't think I've got a shot of these side dots on the neck, and I've put a strap button on it, but you can see that it's rough, except for the top I put in it. It's a rough old guitar, but we did this restoration to improve the sound, not the looks. Anyhow, that's what we've got. We're gonna see if we can let you see what it sounds like. Here's an old guitar that I just did my B-2 restoration on. It's an old Kay. Started out with a plywood top in it, and we put a new top in it, a cedar top, and brace it like a Martin and put a Martin style accents on the top. And we're going to try to show you what it sounds like to the best of our ability. I'm going to sing you a little bit of an old Tom T. Hall song. Took your picture off the dresser, you saw from your brother. Closed our bank account and then ain't nothing new about me. Just the way I've always been. Just the way I've always been. Same old faults, same old friend. Love you now, I love you then. Just the way I've always been. And that's the way it sounds.